Welcome back to What's Your Skincare Routine with LeAura Luciano. I'm your host, LeAura, and today we're stepping a little bit outside of the skincare realm to talk about travel and specifically an adventure that I had with our very special guest, Layla Luciano, my sister. And actually, she's a returning guest. She's been on the podcast before. So, everybody, welcome Layla. Thank you so much for being here, Layla.
Yay!
So I feel like we spent a lot of time together. We were invited to take a cruise throughout the Mediterranean on the new Sun Princess. And it was actually not only was it your first time on a cruise, but it was your first time in Europe, right?
Yeah, first time in Europe and first cruise experience and the best way to see Europe.
Really agree. I am very particular about cruises. I've done 3 so far. 2 of them were with Princess. My first one was to Antarctica, and that was a very unique experience. That was more of an expedition cruise. So the vessel itself was smaller and it was more designed for getting off the ship and getting on Zodiac boats and kind of doing shore excursions, I guess, but it's really expeditions and making landings in Antarctica. With Princess, last year I went on my first cruise and it was to Alaska. My first cruise with Princess, I should say, and it was a land and sea tour experience. It was half on land and that was by bus, and I got to experience the Princess cabins of Alaska and the beautiful lodges that they had. And then of course, we had the remainder of the experience was on a cruise where we got to see so many ports in Alaska. And at that point, I think I realized I really enjoyed certain things about cruises. And for me, I think the sticking point with cruises, they always get like somewhat of a bad rap. I don't know. You can tell me what your first impression or your thoughts before you went on this cruise were about cruises. Did you have any preconceived notions?
You never really hear of anyone younger like, "Oh, I'm going on this cruise," or if it is someone younger, they're going with their whole family. I didn't really know what to expect, but definitely was way different than what I expected.
I think your experience with being a first time cruiser is really exciting because you get on a cruise, you unpack once, and you are just going about your day. There's a million things to do, and we'll get into that on these ships, especially with Princess. There's so much entertainment, so much food, and we're going to talk about that too because I want to hear your perspective, especially as a
Mhm.
vegan. With that being said, we had a pretty extensive itinerary on the Sun Princess in the Mediterranean. So let's start at the start. Our port was out of Athens, but we flew in the day before, and this is something that is a little bit more common with longer cruises from my experience or just cruises in general. Let's just talk about packing. So,
Mhm.
what were some of your non-negotiables for packing?
Mhm.
What were you like, "Okay, I have to bring this no matter what." Like, we did check luggage, but of course, I mean, for me, I can fill a bag. And for you, you're really good at being more of a minimal packer compared to me. But for you, what were
Yeah.
those essentials that were like, "I cannot leave home without these?"
Ooh, okay. So let's start skincare. Definitely need a cleanser, a toner, my eyebrow cleanser, different than my face cleanser. Also, definitely hair products because 2 weeks means there's gonna have to be a wash day. So definitely a shampoo and conditioner had to be put in the checked luggage, and my leave-in conditioner that I just mix with water to keep the curls. What else? Oh, of course, SPF
Okay.
moisturizer. I mean, I knew you would bring 20 SPFs, but
Yeah.
did it more just
Okay.
for you.
But also you brought your workout bands.
Oh, yes, of course. I knew there was a gym, but I feel like I ended up using my bands way more anyway because we had a packed itinerary.
Yeah.
So it was good, a smart option to bring bands, even if I could get like a quick little workout somewhere. So, yeah, definitely that was a great thing to bring.
They really do fit in your bag. Level Up with Layla resistance bands are incredible. I think I went to the gym. One time we took a class too, but you know what? There's a lot to do on the ship and there was a lot going on. We were in the Mediterranean and, whether you're on the ship and our ship The Sun Princess is a very large vessel. Was there anything that you packed that you were like, "Oh, this could have stayed behind," or like, "Oh, I wish I didn't have this taking up space in my luggage?" Or maybe you're just like a pro packer and you're like, "No, I needed everything."
I think I did pretty good because in terms of clothes and shoes, I had gone shopping. In New York City, I pretty much wear workout clothes because I'm always training clients, running around the city. I was like, you know what? I want to shop a little bit. First of all, I need to update the wardrobe. So let me go get some cute Europe finds. I didn't really know where I was going to wear each outfit, but I made sure I had enough. There was definitely maybe like two dresses that I didn't wear, but they were small enough that it didn't really take up too much space. And in terms of shoes, I just made sure I had gym sneakers, walking sneakers, like cuter little walking sneakers. They're actually Dr. Scholl's, but they're like all white and cute and they, can go with everything. And then, oh, I brought a pair of heels, which is more for the photos because we were definitely not walking in those, and a pair of wedges.
Yeah, I think between us, we each had 5 pairs of shoes. Sneaker, gym shoe, walking shoe, like those cute low profile white sneakers that really do go with everything and also are almost more flat in your suitcase. And then a sandal, whether it's like a little wedge, something that's cute. And then there's the high heel. It's just like you're going to wear it for a photo moment. And on the ship, maybe if you're just going to dinner and you just want to kind of work your look, that's great. And then,
Yeah.
just keep it really simple and practical because being in the Mediterranean, it's already warmer. So even though this was May, it was still plenty warm, warm enough for sandals, but also sneakers are totally fine as well. So I think we did really good on shoes.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't
Yeah.
overpack
That was hard
there.
for me.
Another non-negotiable one non-negotiable that I think that I didn't realize that I ended up using, like a
Oh,
sheer
yes.
kind of
Yes. The sheer top.
long sleeve
That was definitely
throw
our
over.
sisterhood
Yeah.
of the traveling, like, sheer top because I wore it, you wore it. It's definitely like an oversized silk,
Yes.
button down top, basically, button up top, and for me, for you, it was, like, very oversized. For me, you could definitely tie it up, but it, was a little bit more fitted on me, so it was just like but it worked, and it worked because it was, like, not like a white, but more of a cream
Yeah.
color, so that neutrally color that goes with everything, and I definitely have some photos of me wearing it, so we definitely maxed out on that item, and yeah, that's always great to have that kind of, thing
Yes.
for covering up from the sun. We were out on some of our excursions, whether it was on our own or set excursions, you're just out all day or many hours at a time, and you have no idea what environments you're gonna be in, whether it's gonna rain, whether it's going to be
Yeah.
bright sun, or even if it's not bright sun. I like to make sure my shoulders are a little bit covered up, my arms, I don't wanna get any surprise sunburns. The SPF levels that I packed, I mean, my non-negotiables were basically hair and SPF, and then, of course, skincare. I will schlep a full-size product around the world so that I have the products that I want. I knew we would be able to travel with checked luggage because we were traveling internationally, so it was a little bit easier that way. For a trip that is a little bit shorter, that might have been a different story, but I knew we would have so much sun exposure during that time, so it was really important and skin. So that's the combination. So even when I went to Antarctica, I wore
Mhm.
SPF. I wear SPF every day, but you're pretty much bundled up except for like this area. So, maybe this area on some days. So it's not as much as you need. And the ability to be able to reapply things quickly on the go is really helpful too, especially in the heat of the sun, which we definitely experienced while we were out. But yeah, that was pretty much similar for me. I had some of those non negotiables in terms of skincare, hair care, with, between us, we have so much hair. Styling products, I think we kind of split the difference on that. So I think it worked out pretty well for us. So we're going start out in Athens because that's where we're going to board the ship, right? The flight was fine, I guess, overall, not the coziest, but it was a long flight, about 10 and a half, 11 hours from New York to Athens. Neither of us got any sleep because we both wear our Whoop bands and there was literally no
Whoop, whoop.
detection of sleep for me. I thought maybe I took a little bit of a nap. I know my eyes were closed. I was trying to relax, but and there was no particular, it's not like there was any more turbulence than I expected, or for me, anything that I was like, "Oh, this was the worst flight ever." It just did not work to get any sleep, and I really struggle with sleeping on planes, and there's some people I'm so envious they can just knock out anywhere. I know between the 2 of us, we had no sleep. The thing is when you travel,
No,
one of the rules of thumb is you're supposed to stay on the schedule of your destination, right? So you can acclimate, it helps you acclimate faster. So the goal was don't go, get off the plane, go to the hotel,
no
don't go to
sleep.
sleep right away because that's gonna mess you up. You're gonna wake up and you're gonna be all groggy and then you're not gonna sleep the next night. So what I had planned to do was, I said, let's stay up, let's go to the hotel, get something to eat. We got to the hotel. I'm going to skip the airport part. Got to the hotel and everything was, was beautiful. Athens Marriott, lovely. They had a breakfast. I don't know if our rooms were ready immediately, but if they weren't, we went to the buffet. They welcomed us. They were so lovely. And you could tell they are a property that, I know they are probably one of the princess preferred hotels for people getting on a cruise. So you're just there for the one night. Couldn't have been nicer. And the buffet was lovely. Marriott does that very well. They have incredible breakfast buffets that are quite premium. And especially my experience of them in Europe, it's like high quality, lovely buffet experience. So we got what we needed, a little bit of everything and trying new things, and I thought that was really nice. And then from there, yeah, we were just trying to get sorted, and from there we went to the Acropolis Museum. It's a beautiful museum, and it was also Greek Easter. So, a lot of things were closed. I think the Acropolis proper was closed, so it was nice to be at the museum and be able to see what you experience in the museum are a lot of those details and the story behind what you see at the Acropolis. So you have sort of the facsimiles so you can get a closer look. And I think it's really nice to be able to see and understand those stories. But overall, I think the museum was great. And then was kind of a blur because after that, you had really bad allergies.
Yes, I did. And trying to find a pharmacy that
Yeah.
was open on
Yeah.
Orthodox Easter.
We did not give up in our quest. We were on a mission. We were checking places that probably would not have medicine, but any place that was open, we'd kind of give a look at, and I asked for help, and I didn't relent until we found one, even though
Yes.
Google Maps might have told us one thing or Apple Maps might have told us another. I got a tip from somebody who worked at one of the places that didn't have allergy medicine. They were like, basically, you have to Google not just the pharmacy, but also open pharmacy, like what's open now, because believe basically there's like one pharmacy in the general area that's open, kind of in case of emergency. So we got you some medicine and I think it worked. So that was good. Yeah.
Yes. And
Yes.
we had a delicious vegan lunch in Athens. That was a cute little spot. It was really good though. They also made fresh juices there as well. I think I had like a seitan steak with like potato wedges and a side salad. Delicious.
Yes, that's your meal. Yeah, it was great. It was nice to have healthy, fresh
Yeah.
vegan options. That was great. And then from there, then we had our journey to the pharmacy. But then after that, we went back to the hotel. I think completely exhausted and delirious. So I really don't remember. I don't think we checked out much that was going on with the
Mhm.
hotel per se, but it was very lovely.
I just looked. I have a photo of me in bed at 8:17 p.m. So we were definitely done early, cooked early.
For this trip for embarkation day for us, we met some of the other group that was transferring with us and we headed over to the ship. And so, for those of you who haven't traveled, basically, it's sort of like before you get onto any vessel like that, kind of have to clear another. customs again. So you just have to, it's very light. It's not like TSA. They have your tickets, they're expecting you. So it just can be long lines. But once we had that and our luggage was transferred, so we had our carry on. So we were just sort of figuring things out. And my favorite thing to do when I get on a ship is just explore. So before everybody else gets on and things get busy, because the night that you set sail
Mhm.
can be really busy on the ship because everybody's on all day and probably wants to do the same thing that you want to do. Your first cruise, first impressions of the Sun Princess for you.
I feel spoiled because the Sun Princess is beautiful and it's humongous. Like, people were on
Yeah.
the ship over 4,000, they said. I think that was the number. Well, when you're actually, like, on the ship, it doesn't feel like there's 4,000 people on the ship because it's so huge. Like, just walking up to it, I was like, "Oh my god, wow." It's stunning, stunning ship. And when we got into our room, it was a great sized room as well. Um, yeah, I was definitely impressed.
Basically, we had a balcony, so we had an ocean view, we had the balcony room, but we also had this cabana as well. So it was like a second room, so you could kind of extend, you could have a little bit of indoor outdoor. It was fully covered. We had a large balcony area. So sometimes, you see on cruises, you have like that small little balcony where it's like you can put your 2 feet like, perpendicularly looking out and that's it, but there's plenty of room for the chairs pretty much fully reclined, or you could make your own situation, which we did, just kind of having a little
We
picnic,
did.
but also you could be in the cabana area where there was another TV in addition to the one that was in the main cabin area. And for me, the cabins are small, but that's my opinion on any cruise, unless you move up to a suite level. We live in New York City. So we're used to tight spaces, making the most of storage. The luggage, you unpack as much as you need, and then you put your physical luggage under the bed. There were a few things that I brought that are not necessarily non negotiables, but I think there are some hacks that I found from other people, like the little magnetic hooks that you can put on the door. Yeah, it became like, holders for different
Oh,
things, but if
yes.
we were doing more
Yeah.
activities on the cruise, maybe like going swimming, or you needed to dry something or maybe hang your hat, whatever it was, we would use that for our room keys, like our lanyards. That was my other question for you. So, being it was your first cruise, how did you feel? Did you feel like you were on a cruise? How did the ship feel?
Really didn't feel motion or anything like that. Maybe, like, at when we were not in the definitely not while we were in the room. Um, Maybe there was, like, one part of the ship that you could, like, see below.
Oh, like the
It was, like, kinda
skywalk where
towards
you
the
could
end
kind
of
of
the
see?
edge of the ship.
Okay.
That was, like, the only place, like, I felt anything, but I think maybe because it's such a huge ship, like, you just kind of not forget, but you just don't even realize that, you're moving in the sea.
The scale of a vessel of that size, and now I know Sun Princess is not the biggest, there are bigger ships out there. The size of the
Oh,
vessel also determines the ports that you can get into, that's part of it, of course. So that's something to keep in mind when you are thinking about going on a cruise. Sometimes smaller vessels allow more access. Think about a river cruise, if you've ever heard of people that do those river cruises, maybe through fjords that are a bit more narrow. You can't have a vessel of that size, it has to be a smaller ship. Usually that's less passengers, maybe a little bit more exclusive, but a vessel of this size allows for more travelers and more activities on the ship itself. So that's definitely something to always kind of keep in mind when you're deciding on how you want to travel, how you want to cruise. How many people are going to be on the ship is determined by the size of the vessel, literally the capacity, but also thinking of where you want to go. Now, there are some people who absolutely love cruises and will go on cruises to anywhere. For me, I'm definitely in that league. I'm spoiled by Princess as well. I think they're sort of the best in class in terms of making things accessible, but also having options to make experiences more upscale. We did have a premium package, so that included Wi Fi and also included drinks. And now for me, a drinks package is not really a big deal, but the premium drinks also included high-end coffees and other fun things that we had access to. Room service, things like that were included within the Princess app, which I thought was so fun. I love using the app to order room service. Layla knows one of my favorite things was I loved to basically kind of make my own tea service and have like a little fruit
Mhm.
plate in the room after an excursion, but maybe before a dinner because we were booked at all times in between like meal
At all
times
times.
because we did have a lot of things booked out on the cruise itself. We had excursions that were off the ship. Then we also had our set specialty restaurant experiences. So in between, I always kind of wanted to keep myself covered. And if we're waiting for like a 7 p.m. reservation or something and you're hungry, I wanted to have like a little tea and maybe some fruit, something like that. And with the app, it was actually really funny because I made a mistake and I was headed to the room and I thought I would just order it from the app. And instead of ordering it to the room, I ordered it to where I ended up meeting up with Layla, which was, I think, where were we? We were at the Lido deck.
By
I
the
had ordered
pools?
stuff that
Yeah,
come to
there.
the room and it came out to us. So we just ended up eating it there. But I could not believe that they found me. But it works and it's I can't get over how seamless that was because I was like, "Wait, what are they doing here? What's happening? Why is food coming?" Yeah, so there's a lot also. Part of the Princess experience does have a lot of that technology, right? So we have our medallion as our room key and basically anything on the ship that we need, it's kind of done. You have to scan your medallion. And I know this is sort of a standard practice on many other ships, but for us, I think it was so fun also to have the Princess app experience. So you connect your medallion to that, you can order from it, you have all of your reservations on your profile, everything is there. So it's also a great way for the crew to kind of, when you're going to a restaurant, they can greet you. It's kind of like a built-in icebreaker in a way for the guests and also the crew. So that's really nice. So if you had anything, like if we were celebrating a birthday or if you're celebrating any sort of special occasion, it's in your profile. I just think that's such a cool, like common sense feature, but I know it's something that doesn't get talked about a lot.
Yeah. It even has, like, food allergies or, like, if you're vegan, so that people they know.
Whether it's allergies, dietary preference, any other details that you need to share, I think it's really helpful and can make an experience a little bit more seamless. So those are some of the first impressions. I know we have a lot going
Yeah.
on because we have a pretty full itinerary. So, with that, for now, we're going to take a pause and we're going to come back and share more all about the excursions and the dining that we experienced on the Sun Princess and share more of our adventures from here. And I want to say thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, stay glowing.